Thank you. Thank you. I'm the bad guy tonight, BAG guy. See if I can do this without crying. Okra. This ancient vegetable, a close relative to the cotton plant, originated in Northeast Africa. I am told it is not uncommon to see wild okra still growing in Ethiopia and the Upper Nile region. Okra was, and still is, a staple in Africa, India, and the Mediterranean area. This unique vegetable was brought to America along with human cargo in the hull of slave ships. Both ill-treated cargo survived, still surviving harsh times in their new homeland and have made a significant impact on the culinary world. In Africa, the words okra and gumbo are interchangeable. But here in the United States, gumbo has come to mean a soup or stew associated with Creole cooking, and okra refers to the primary ingredient in its preparation. In my eyes, okra, with its green color of spring grass and its intriguing cylinder shape, is one of the most beautiful vegetables. I often ask myself whether I feel this way because of the history of this ancient food and my own cultural history are so closely intertwined. I grew up eating okra. My grandfather, W.H. Curtis, raised the best I'd ever tasted. Each summer morning, he and I would inspect the plants that looked so much like the cotton plants he spent his days with, and harvest the ripe vegetables. Then we would take them in to Grandmother Corrine, who must have had 50 different ways to prepare the fruits/vegetables of our labor. Fried, broiled, cooked with onions or tomatoes, in stews, pickled or canned. She had hot ones, sweet ones, sour ones, and okra with herbs. If I had known then what I would be doing for a living, I would have written down everything Grandmama did in her kitchen. Thank God my mama knew many of Grandmama's secrets. Thank y'all for giving me the ability to do that. As a boy, as a boy in school in Conyers, Georgia, 20 miles east of Atlanta, and maybe 150 years behind Atlanta, I thought there was something wrong with me. One of my neighbors, Danette Levitt, could read. And I'm like, why don't I have that with books like Danette? I was telling Ann earlier, Ann, where are you? Raise your hand. I don't write speeches. I usually come from the heart and just, it comes out. And I watched this video today, that the CLLS video on Vimeo, and all the stories, and I think about before I learned to read, I could hope, I could pray, I could do all these things, but I couldn't read. I knew I was smart, however, I thought I was stupid because I couldn't read. I could remember anything. Why can't I remember how to read? And it goes back to that little foundation, that those first few years of school, I didn't get that foundation. In the third grade, when Mrs. Harper had a meeting with Mom and me, and she said, Curtis is dumb and stupid, he's got to repeat the third grade. She didn't say that. That's what I heard. As a little boy, I heard, he's dumb, he's stupid, his punishment is to repeat the third grade. So instead of asking for help, I learned to hide it. Like I said, if you told me something, I could remember it. So I was a smart kid, but lazy. 2 words I try never to say. B-U-T, and I just said it, and H-A-T-E. When you say B-U-T, no matter how many wonderful things I've said about you or someone else, when I say but, all that seems to be negated. So I try not to say that. And when I catch myself saying it, I correct myself, and I share why I don't do that. And that other word is just so ugly, it hurts my tongue when I say it. So I never say that word. Tonight is about you all, about what you have done for the past 40 years. And I was sharing with a couple of folks earlier, in the black culture, in the African-American family, we grew up telling stories because it was against the law to teach someone that looked like me to read. Think about that. Tonight I'm wearing a shirt with a quote from I hurt my knee, y'all, forgive me, Miss Rosa Parks. Never fear what you're doing if you're doing right. Right? I mean, that's so cool. And I had a hard time tonight deciding what shirt to wear. Not a collared shirt. I had a tough time because we're in the place where Jackie Robinson grew up. And if you ever get a chance to visit the Jackie Robinson Museum in New York City, please do. It's like you all. It will change you. You see what this man went through to make a difference in this world. And I want to do more when I'm around his legacy. When I think about the times I met Rosa Parks, I want to do more. When I think about my tutors, Steve and Jenny Seibel, I want to do more. When I think about this meeting tonight, this gathering tonight, I want to do more. Yesterday when I left home, I stopped to visit San Quentin Prison. I spent 4 hours there with a group of people, and I'm still feeling those men, those incarcerated human beings. I'm still feeling their pain. The food they have to eat, the living conditions. I don't even know what I'm hurting. I'm hurting physically, emotionally, spiritually when I see people locked up like that. These men that I met yesterday are working really hard to be better, to do better. They're earning their degrees. They're earning their GEDs. They are learning to read. They are helping people when they come in. There's just so much I want to share with you all. But the biggest thing I want to share is thank you for what you're doing. Thank you, Gary, for starting this program. Thank you, Ruth, for creating Literacy Volunteers of America. Thank you, Frank and Dr. Bob. I got a chance to meet those people, and the impact they had on me is like the impact you all have on me. I can read. I can read. I can read because of this program, and when Kathy reached out to me and told me about this, before she could even finish talking, I said, I'm in. I'm in. I'll pay my own expenses. I'll do it, because everything I've been able to do since 1986, when you all taught me to read, is because of you. You didn't change my life. You saved my life. I want y'all to feel what I'm saying to you. You didn't change a man's life. You saved it. All those cracks I'd fallen into, all that depression I'd lived through, all those things, all those letters my mother, my friends, people had sent to me that I couldn't read. I'll never forget when Steve and Jenny, the night I felt I'm reading, right, without the stumbling. The paper, it was a letter my mother had sent me with all my brothers and sisters' birth dates. My mother had the most beautiful handwriting. My mother was extremely literate. She got her she learned, she's from North Georgia, but she would read to us. She would read, she was always reading, right? My mother got her GED the same year my brother graduated from high school. Telling you how life comes 360, right? I earned my master's degree. And you got to remember, it's hard for a black man to say any kind of master's word because, the history of that word. So I'm really working hard to change those terms. I'm a master gardener. It hurts my tongue to say I'm a master of something, right? It just really kills me to say that word, right? However, that's what the white dude put on it, so we got to go with it for a minute, right? Anyway, my mother got her GED in 1972 when my oldest brother, Eddie, who was fighting cancer right now. So group prayer, whether you believe in Allah, God, Buddha, whomever, think positive for my brother. He needs us. I can't wait to get home and give him a hug. 2013 is when I got that upper education degree, right? I got to figure out a way to say that, right? I got that advanced degree or whatever they call it, right? And I remember that was the same year my baby boy graduated from high school. Again, when I left high school in 1978, I was given a full football scholarship at Southern University. Those of you who know about historically black colleges, Jesse Jackson, yes, you can clap. I like that, right? Yep, raise the roof. Jesse Jackson and Mel Blount, was a great football player, attended Southern. I went to Southern, and one of the first things I sought was help with reading. I figured, okay, I'm in this beautiful environment of people that all of them look like me, right? So I'm gonna say, hey, I need help. And I was a bit crushed when it was said to me in a not so nice way, you're a football player, just play football. Broke my heart. That day, I started figuring out I got to get out of here, right? Because I've been vulnerable. Let somebody know. So I transferred to the University of Georgia. 1980, I'm at the University of Georgia. We won a national championship. And I'm a redshirt, so I don't get to be in that glory. And I'm in an apartment off campus, and it was really hard, right? It was really, really tough. Can't read, struggling, listen to Michael Jackson's Off the Wall album more times than I want to say, So a buddy and me do a cross-country trip to California, right? California, I still feel very strongly, California is to America what America is to the world, right? You feel me? I'm in love with this incredible woman, Lisa Cobb. She wants to move to Nevada because we can save money on taxes. And I'm like, honey, you can't get me in Nevada to live, right? It's like a black man in Nevada, hey now, I need to be in Cali where I can California loving, right? So mention Marin City. I'm running a program there. It's an incredible program. This morning I did a podcast. A dude up north did this podcast, and it's about it's about the good life, right? Not rich, not that. It's like, what is it you want to leave behind you, right? So I'm in Marin City, which is an area, those of you my age, remember George Duke, the great jazz musician? He grew up in Marin City. You younger folks may be familiar with Tupac Shakur. He grew up in Marin City, right? I love both their music. So I'm in this incredible enclave of black Marin County, right? I live in Novato, which a lot of the African-American population are moving up there. So we've got this garden program. And as a culinary professional, which I am, we have started a culinary incubator with women and chefs of color. We've got several of them that have graduated the program and now making good money. We've gotten them into the corporate world as well as the government contracts. So these folks are starting to really see good incomes. Last week we had our fundraiser, and I'm telling this story, but I really want to get back to you all and what I hope we can do the next 40 years. I'm so glad we got someone from the state here, so you see the impact, right? I pay more taxes than I want to because y'all taught me to read, right? You feel, right? So one of the things that we have to get, I'll never forget the first time I was invited to the White House, and I'm there with Miss Bush 1. And Bush won. Check that out. I'm like, isn't that crazy, right? Anyway, so I'm in the White House, right? And I'm thinking, okay, Kanye's Georgia boy in the White House, First Lady, and she's like, we're in the receiving line. I'm there with Delta Burke, Eddie Van Halen. I'm thinking all these, Gerald Grant. I'm looking at all these folks I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I'm in this room, right? So we're in the receiving line. It's the weekend that the president's mother had passed away. So we weren't expecting him to be there. So we're in line, he's there, and Miss Bush is going, oh, Bubba, it's my hero. It's my hero. I'm like, I'm looking around. And so I get there and up to the front to shake his hand, and she gives him this big old hug, and I'm thinking, I'm your hero, right? And I go, Miss Bush, you're the hero. You're the literacy champion that we need to get this word going. So, and you all are the champions to save someone's life, to change someone's life, to give me these abilities to stand up and read. Right? I mean, check this out, right? Oops, sorry, y'all. I'm a little excited because it's all come from the gut. I couldn't have done this without you all. I'm so blessed because of you. I have dedicated my work to people like you. Every one of these, all the books that, whatever they sell, a big chunk of the money goes back to programs like yours. I leave here tomorrow. I'm in Las Vegas, and I get a chance to work with it's the Healthy Meals Summit. All the food nutritionists from all around the country and some from around the world are coming in, and we get to celebrate them. And I can't wait to share with them that I got to celebrate with you, because without you, I couldn't be there. I couldn't do the work that I do without you all. I couldn't have had a chance to speak before the House of Parliament, to meet incredible authors like Ken Follett, who wants to hear me talk because of you. I wouldn't have been invited to the White House by Miss Obama and give her a hug and faint because this woman that looks like me is in the White House. She and I, with some other chefs, we did a cooking class with children around the country. It was the most incredible thing. And I want y'all to know this from my heart. Everything that went through my head as I'm working with her, and she's, I'm cooking with the kids, and the focus was there, and she comes over and she's putting her hand on my shoulder, and I'm thinking, oh my God, it's like, I am so on top of the world, Mom, right? I mean, so this is happening because of you. This is happening because of y'all. Gary, thank you for that insight to start this program. What I hope I can do tonight, when I was working in television, it was the person that got me in TV. His name was Jack Leese. And I went on to this show. I'm getting that wrap it up thing. I love that. It's right. So Jack Leese, I used to do this show in Atlanta. It was my first television show. And after my first appearance, it was about this time of year. I think it was 1989. What's going on now? Halloween. Because of you all, I could research a pumpkin, right? I could research the history of pumpkins and squash. Like this book, I was able to research that because of you. I mean, the stuff in here is good stuff. It's stuff that I'm using to this day, and people are using it, and they're using the information that I researched as it's theirs. So I research pumpkins, come up with this great recipe, and I do this quote, Henry David Thoreau, right? I would rather have a seat to myself on a pumpkin than be crowded on a velvet cushion. I'm like, damn, that's some good stuff, right? I'm like, damn, I found that in a book, right? Okay, me, the guy who can't read, found that in a book. All right, so I'm doing this TV show, and I'm killing. I got all these big pumpkins, I got small pumpkins, I got carved pumpkins, all these things, right? Pumpkin, pumpkin, pumpkin. And the producer's in my ear, and of course, my mama was my inspiration for cook, right? And then, so she's going, he's big, he's black, he loves his mama, and he can cook. We got to have him back. right? So I get invited back. So Jack Lee says, come up to my kid. I'm like, what was that? He's like, kid. I'm like 30-something years old. Kid. I'm like, at least he didn't say B-O-Y, right? He says, kid. So I come up to his office. He says, I want you here every Thursday. I go, okay, and I'm going to pay you. I'm like, okay, right? So I go up, and every week he'd call me up after the show, and we'd critique what I did right, what I did wrong, boom, 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 boom. And then one day he goes, that's it, you know what you're doing, go to work. I was like, okay. A year later, I'm doing the show. Who's on the show? Julia Child. So, and I'd been traveling that whole week, so I get in late that night, and I'm thinking, okay, I got to do something quick and easy. I didn't know she was going to be in the show, so I do this recipe called fresh pickled melons. I think it's in the cookbook, right? It's like watermelons, cantaloupe, honeydew, some dill, some mint. I've got a little bit of this, so it's like a fresh pickle. Julia loved it. Oh, Curtis, this is absolutely wonderful. I'm like, really? So I ask her assistant, I say, does she really like it, or is she just, making me feel good? She goes, no. If Julia didn't like it, Curtis, she would tell you and then tell you how to correct it. Mic drop. Okay, so fast forward. She would see me doing work. She'd either write me or call and leave a message, right? I'm like, this is Julia Child sending me messages, right? And there's so many great stories I would love to share with you all, and we'll do it someday on my YouTube channel. No, okay? But the thing, I'm going to wrap this up right now. But the biggest thing I'll do is give you all a hug. On my TV show, I would end my show by saying, I wouldn't end the show. At some point, we'd stop the show, and I have the camera coming real close, real close. And I go, okay, big old hug, right? 8 hugs a day. You got to get it, you got to get them, you got to give them. That was my motto, right? And that has morphed into spread love. You all are the butter. Those of us that you are teaching to read, we're the toast, and you're spreading that love all of us. So may the God I love bless each and every one of you. Thank you for what you're doing. You can write to me, chef@curtisaikens.net. If you're in California and you want to do something at your library, if we can schedule it, I won't charge you a dime. I'll be there. God bless. Thank you all. God bless.